Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to see Class 8 Science, chapter number 19, The Life Cycle of Stars, part 2. In a part 1, already we have discussed about the stars, how they are getting birth, then the stability of a star. These things already we have studied in a previous part of this particular chapter. Today we are going to begin with the evolution of stars, and after that we will study about the end stages of the stars. When we talk about the evolution of stars, evolution of a star means change in its property with time resulting in its passing through different stages. We have seen that the property of the sun have not changed in the past 4.5 billion years. Stars evolve very slowly for most of their lifetime, and the stars are continuously emitting energy. Their energy is constantly decreasing because when we talk about the burning of the gases present in the stars, definitely their fuels or the gases present in that is slowly and slowly it's getting disappeared, or it's getting consumed in a luminous, or in a form of the luminous, or the in form of the light. Further, when we talk about the stability to remain intact, for maintaining a balance between the gas pressure and the gravitational force, it is necessary that the temperature remains constant. And for the temperature to remain constant, energy must be generated inside the star. And the generation of energy occurs because of a burning of a fuel at the center of the star. So whatever fuel is present at the center, it burns continuously to maintain the temperature of the star, so as its structure can be maintained for the longer time. Further, as the temperature of the stars decreasing due to the decrease in temperature, the gas pressure decreases, and the balance between gas pressure and gravitational force cannot be maintained. As the gravitational force is now higher than the gas pressure, the star starts contracting. This causes another fuel to start burning. For example, when hydrogen at the center is finished, helium starts undergoing fusion and energy generation starts again. How many fuels will be used depends on the mass of the stars. So whatever the mass we have for the star, that decides how many fuels are available for the keeping its temperature constant. Higher is the mass of the star, higher is the number of fuels used. During this, a lot of changes occurs in the star. As a number of processes occurs inside the star, it sometimes contracts and expands at other time. Means everything is possible, whether contraction or the expansion of that, both is possible. Further, they are saying is when all the possible fuels are exhausted, the energy generation finally stops and the temperature of the star starts decreasing. The balance between the gravitational force and gas pressure cannot be maintained. Let us now, when there is an imbalance between the both the forces, the gravitational force and the force which is taking it outward, or the gas pressure force, then there is a beginning of the end of the star. And when we talk about the end stages of the stars, we have three different kind of the end stages for the stars, and that depends on the size and the mass of the star. Now, on the basis of this, when we talk about the end stages of these stars, then we will begin with the first end stage of the star, that is the end stages of the stars having initial mass less than 8 times the mass of the sun. So what they are saying, the mass is less than the 8 times of the mass of the sun. In that, what happens? The star in this group undergo huge explosion and their radius increases by a factor of 100 to 200. Means the radius is increasing by 100 to 200 times of its actual radius. In this stage, they are called as red giant stars. This name is given because of this large size and because of the fact that stars look like reddish due to their lower temperature, and the size of a red giant star is comparison to other types of stars as shown in the figure 19.2. So now we are going to talk about this. See, this picture we are going to discuss is about interstellar cloud. They get converted into a low mass star, then from there to the red giant, then again explosion takes place and it gets converted into a white dwarf. Another possibility is interstellar cloud get converted into a higher mass star, from there to the supergiant, then the supernova explosion takes place and it may get converted into two types, that is the neutron star and the black holes. So one already we have discussed, that is the we reached up to the red giant star, and then the red giant stars goes under the explosion and their outer gas envelope is thrown out. The inner part contracts and its size becomes similar to the size of the earth, as the mass of the star is much higher than the earth and the size is smaller to that of the earth. The density in the star becomes very high. In this state, the pressure due to the electrons in the star becomes independent, and that reduces its size very quickly, and it's get converted into a white dwarf, and the small size it is called as a white dwarf. The next end stage is what we have for the star, that is the for those stars whose mass is between the 8 and 25 times of the mass of the sun. These stars also go through the red giant stage and later through the supergiant stage, during which their size may increase to the 1000 times. The previous one was 100 to 200 and here it is 1000 times. The huge explosion called the supernova explosion, which occurs at the last, is very powerful and so much energy is given off that we can see the star during the day also. The central portion, which is left behind after the explosion, contracts and its size becomes as small as 10 kilometer. In this state, the stars are completely made up of the neutrons, and that's why it is called as the neutron star. A recent picture of the supernova explosion, which was first seen in 1054 AD. Further is the next what we are having, the third stage, that is the ends third, where the mass of the star is more than or larger than the 25 times of the mass of the sun. These stars evolve like stars in the second group, but after the supernova explosion, no pressure is capable of balancing their huge gravitational force, and they continue contracting forever. As their size becomes smaller, their density and the gravitational force increase tremendously, because if the size decreases continuously, then the density will go on increasing. All nearby objects get attracted towards these stars and nothing can come out of them, not even light. Also, any light falling on these stars does not get reflected back because of the huge density and the gravitational force, and gets absorbed inside the star. Thus, we cannot see the star at all, but can probably see a minute black hole at its place. Because if the light is not getting reflected from inside, then we cannot see that particular object. So what we are able to see is only a small black color hole we are going to observe. And that's why it is named as the black hole. Thus, we have seen that depending on mass, there are three paths of evolution and three end stages of these stars. These are shown in the following table. You can see over here, if the initial mass is less than 8 times of the mass of the sun, it will get end as a white dwarf. And if it is between 8 to 25 times of the mass of sun, then it will end as a neutron star. And if it is more than 8 times of the mass of sun, then it will end as a black hole. So these are the end stages of the stars, how they end up in their life or in their evolution. So this is all about the life cycle of the stars.